if you have like a $60,000 deal, yeah, and we just break them down into like 3 months to maybe like maximum like 6 months, and then we just work it off. And later we continue with most clients, so we just like maybe like half the price we will do on a monthly rate. Yeah,
Okay, makes sense. So,
yeah.
how big is your team?
My team, let me check because we have like also like a lot of small in the team, but I think we're around like 12 to 15 people.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just like not like full-time employee. Some are also like freelancers. Yeah,
Okay. So,
but we're working on a regular basis with them. Yeah.
okay. Do you want to share like some revenue goal that you had in your mind that you wanted to hit? And how did you do in 2019 or 18 or 17? Like, is this something that you were able to get or you were coming close?
Yeah, sure. It's the yeah, it's the $1 million uh revenue. Yeah, per year. So yeah, I'm really close to that. So yeah.
Awesome, man. And so when you say like 1 million revenue, like that's like with your for your entire company, right? Like that means even your employees, like they're all paid off, your and all like the business expenses, right? So that's 1 million in sales revenue, right?
Yeah, sales revenue. Sure.
Okay, sweet man. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's an amazing target. And you want to get that within a year?
So maybe we will still reach that this year. But maybe just with my investments. So I have to see. Maybe like next year. Yeah.
Awesome, man. If you can get that net, that would be awesome. So yeah, let's talk about like, so you mentioned you have about 50 employees. You're targeting, getting about 1 million in a year. And so let's talk about, how you began this journey. Let's start off with where it started. Like, how did you get into business?
Okay. Yeah, that's the longest story, but I will explain it. So I've been in school, and with 14 years old, my journey began. So I was like super lazy back in that time, and I was mostly just chilling on the couch and like watching YouTube videos. And I felt like, oh, I can't do that in the future. Like going to school and then like continue that life for like going to university and then going to do a job and do that all my life. So I felt like I always always wanted like a super special and like exciting life. So then I just researched in the internet like what can I do, and then I found like this big thing you maybe also found, like passive income. So, and then I just researched like, okay, stocks. Then I went to real estate, and then I went through all the stuff till I was like maybe 16, 17 years old. And then I started out with, okay, but to have that passive income, I need like huge amounts of money to get there. So I researched how to make a lot of money, and there are like a few ways. You can win the lottery, you can have a high paid job, and the most like best calculable way to get there is to have a business. Yeah, to make sales and have a business. So I researched and started with network marketing. Had a lot of failures, lost all my money, won it back, and then like after a few years in network marketing, because I already started with before 18, and then like also then with 18 like till 19. And yeah,
What was the product you were selling?
so like different stuff. So I was in some Ponzi systems because there I lost all my money. And then I was in some product business like Juice Plus, Ringana. I don't know, maybe they're just in Europe. So yeah, it's just like sold these products, but I actually gained a lot of knowledge and like good contacts, which I still use right now. And yeah, after that, the last thing I went to BitClub. I don't know if it's international. It's also a Ponzi scheme, but because of that, I learned a lot of investments and like learned of the Bitcoin. And actually, hit like went in at a good point, and but I was like still like very mad at like all the industry, and like it felt like going too slow, just like building up someone else's business. So that's why I went off all these networks, and yeah, just wanted to do something on my own. And then I just researched in the internet like what's like a good deal to do, and I came up with like online marketing. And it's very easy for me because I've been growing up with my laptop, my phone, so it's very easy to get into that like niche space. And yeah, I just studied all of the marketing stuff, and yeah.
Okay, so when you say you were studying marketing stuff, like did you buy a course? Did you read a book? Like how did you know that online marketing was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah. So I just started out with that course. Maybe it's like very common with the Tai Lopez social media marketing agency course. Obvious, right? And yeah, but yeah, I mean his course isn't that bad, but it's very like general. So you don't really like get super results with that. So I had to really research more on that, like read a lot of books and get also like other courses like more in detail for the
Mhm.
niche, like ad courses and content courses, and just try and error do on my own like everything. um, Tried out bots, tried out different stuff to yeah, just gain a lot of knowledge.
Okay, so you took the course, and then when did you get your first client?
um, Let me think. So I think after 3 months, yeah,
Okay, and
with
it's
a
like
restaurant.
how come it took you 3 months?
Sorry,
How come it
say
took
again.
you 3 months?
3 months to gain the first client after the
Yeah.
course. It's mostly because of the German bureaucracy. Because to open up a company in Germany, it's very like difficult and complicated. It's not easy like in America. Um, so yeah, it took me like we opened it like in the wrong way, the company, so we have to like do it again and stuff. So yeah,
Okay, so
that's
like
why.
I understand you're saying you opened up the company, but I'm just saying like what were you doing to be able to reach out and get a client?
Mhm. Okay, sure. Yeah, so after like the first 2 months, after getting like all the bureaucratic stuff together, then I just yeah, I just did like offline sales in the first time. So like really old school basic. I just went to like shops and just went in there and like offered my service. Yeah.
Okay, and what were you offering?
Just like um I think back then it was the website and like building their new homepage, because it's even if you still go into some cities in Germany, most of the people still have like really bad websites. So that was like basic and obvious, like to sell them a website, and then manage their social media accounts. Some even don't had social media, and the ones who had Instagram or Facebook, mostly just had Facebook, they had like really bad pictures and like no descriptions and like no followers. So yeah.
Okay, so when you were going offline and actually meeting these people, like were you just doing it and like on the street, like you're going to different shops?
Mhm. Yeah, so I just called a few, had some meetings, went there, and the other ones I just went into the shop and asked for the CEO, and yeah, just pitched in. Yeah.
So, I mean, for you, that sounds like, that's super easy and simple, but I want to break it down. So, for people who actually are afraid to pick up the phone and talk to someone who they don't know or
Yeah.
walk into a store and ask for a CEO, like they're afraid to do that, right? It's a fear they have of getting rejected. So, how did
No,
you
sure.
get the courage
Mhm.
to be able to like you pick up the phone and start calling and actually going in person?
Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't that easy back then. So it really was like I was really scared to do that, to be honest. But yeah, I just wanted to reach my goal. Like that passive income was still in my head, and like growing that business and like doing my own thing now after all the failures in network marketing, like already the long road I took. So um, it's very important to have like a big why for yourself. And if your why is big enough, you will do everything, even if you don't like it. And yeah, after time you get used to it, like picking up the phone, calling like businesses, and you're getting used to being rejected because you don't learn it in school. Like being rejected is like something scary you shouldn't do. And like right now, really enjoy failures and like growing from that. It's been really a long road. Yeah.
So when you say like you were scared, you mentioned that you had a really big why. What was your big why then to make you do something that you were uncomfortable with?
Yeah, so as I told you, I'm like a super lazy person who wanted like never to work. So yeah, I started all that because of that and because of my mother. She's also a big wife for myself. So yeah,
So you wanted to help support her?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let's say like let's break down your day. Like, what are you doing? Like in the morning you're like calling people, and then in the afternoon you're going out and visiting stores.
So you mean back then, not right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, back then.
Back then. So yeah, I just woke up and worked a little bit more on my website, doing like all the social media posts, and then just called clients in the mornings because it was perfect because in the mornings you can reach the CEOs better because they're maybe before noon they're more available, and especially on Mondays, yeah, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays, I think they were perfectly available. So at least in Germany and Switzerland. Yeah, and after that, I just went into the city, and yeah, I drove around to like other cities and just going there. And soon after, I hired um, a friend of mine, also as a salesperson. So we went together, like went into more stores. Like that's where I already began to develop that business mindset, like building a team to gain more like reach.
Right. So before recruiting your friend, like, were you working before at another job that was helping you pay for expenses like your car, your gas, your rent, your food?
So yeah, I had a job, um, but I was just living that time as a student. So I was still going to university, but actually I not really went that much anymore into university and just living like super, super low key and just using like the car of my mother back then. So yeah.
Okay. So basically, your mom is paying for your car, your gas, your rent, and your food too, right? Basically, and you're a student. So and in Germany is the schooling free?
Yeah, the schooling is free there. So
Okay. So you had a really good living style, right? Like you didn't have much expenses.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I tried to really live low key. Just had a super cheap apartment back then, and yeah, just
Okay. So basically, you wanted to have your own income, and then you're calling in the mornings, and then during the late afternoons, you're going out and you're pitching them in person. What are you saying to them to convince them to take you on? Maybe some people like at that time, they're not aware of social media, they're not aware of marketing. So what are you telling them to
mm,
actually get them as a client?
sure. So I tried first that it was mentioned in the Tai Lopez marketing agency course that free audit, but I never did it again because all the clients you put a lot of effort in that, like auditing all the social medias and like super in detail and giving them a script, but they just throw that away and stuff. So um, I just audited like on the way to that shop, just like looking on the Instagram website and like Facebook maybe, and that's all. And just went in and showed them like, hey, um, wait, I have to rethink my pitch. Are you already generating automated clients. So I think that was one of my pitches. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. Like obviously every business owner wants that. So
Yeah, sure.
that would allow you to at least get a conversation with them, right?
Exactly. When I was in, then I could convince them. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
And
showing their like what they can do better and like stuff. And obviously they don't have enough time to do it on their own. So well, then you're there and then they can just book yourself.
okay, and how would you justify the pricing? You know, because some people they're like, why don't you just do it for free?
Sure. So to be honest, back then I didn't had the courage to be like stronger and like defend yourself more. Then back then I like reduced my prices way more. Like started with like a few thousands and then like went down to a few hundreds. Um, so back then it was fine for me. But right now I'm using that, hey, everyone has to like to get some food on the table and stuff. So we can do like some deal, like lowering that. Maybe if you like book for like 1 year or like a longer period and like you pay in bulk, then you get like percentages off. Or what we also can do is like what I always say is you can give me like a small percentage of your company, yeah, and then we can reduce it by half or like really huge amount. So
Okay,
that's the way I work right now. Yeah.
okay, so that makes sense. So, you know,
Mhm.
you mentioned like, you know, in Tile Opens tells you to charge $1,000 or $2,000. So you go into the shop
Mhm.
and you did you pitch them $1,000?
Sure, I pitched them like, yeah, I started with that 1,000, 2,000, and 5,000 packages back then. But actually, I figured out very soon that it's not possible to charge these amounts in Europe because, as I told you, the like you don't get, you still get in Germany like I think 2,000 euros per month, like in a wage. In America, you get like way more, and business also have way more in revenue. So I just figured out, hey, I have to like to recalculate it and lower it like a little bit. So it's like um, that you can like um, take the like a fair amount. And like soon after, I also figured out, hey, I can't offer these full services packages because people don't understand what's in there. Like maybe in America, they already know like social media, but as I told you, in Germany, they still had like no websites, mostly don't have like social media. So they really had no plan about that. So I had to like make my own packages. And then I just started to like, yeah, split everything like small pieces.
Okay,
And
so when you
yeah,
say like you had to like adjust it obviously to your environment. So you mentioned $1,000, and then she's like, they're like, oh no, that's way too much, and then you lowered it to $500.
exactly. So what I did was like, because I just said like, hey, that's 1,000, that's $2,000 for like full service. And they're like, they don't get like the service out of that full service. So it was just too much for them. So when you come in, you have to make sure that you first like giving them like the value, like what are you doing really for them in detail. So yeah, we will manage your social media postings. So we will create your postings, we will schedule them, we will make like a boosting when they will post it. We will manage the comments and messages and all that stuff. You see now that's way more than just like saying, okay, it's full service or like social media management. So then you have like that one, and you can charge maybe like $500 for that, like $600. And then you say, okay, then we have the advertising. So we're boosting your postings. So we're boosting your reach. We get generating your leads. We doing all that stuff, and that's like another 600. Okay, now you have already more than like the first service, like the full service. So that's what I did. Yeah,
Okay,
like the full service, they don't get the service out of that. Yeah,
okay. And so
they're
when you
very
pitched them for $500, like were they convinced? They're like, okay, yeah, this is worth it for $500, or they're like, this is still way too much and it doesn't make sense. Like this is something all new.
Mhm. To be honest, like you get like mostly rejected in the first place. So when you pitch to people, they maybe want to talk about it or not. And they who want to talk about that, I have a conversion rate then of like maybe like 50 to 80%. But yeah, so it's very easy then because most of them just say like, hey, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty good. You're saying that
Yeah.
you have a high percentage of conversion. So like, why did you show them that this was so important to do right now in their business?
Hmm. So you mean right now or just
No,
like
it's still back then. Like, I still want to focus on like just your
still
first. Yeah.
still back then? Yeah, I just told them like I took out like all um like value points I could could hit with them. So one of the main reasons I told them is like the offline business is dying, and they really should um, go into the online world, like because soon people are just like just booking stuff online in the restaurant or just getting their coupons online and just booking everything online. And also like an argument was, hey, people are like going from the desktop, from the PC to the mobile, so they're switching, like the numbers are getting higher every year. And so yeah, it's the trend is going mobile, and the trend mobile is mostly social media. So when you're not advertising there and it's free, so why are you advertising like offline in newspapers and don't get any traffic? Like you can't even track their traffic, maybe with a coupon code, but like yeah, not really. Like advertising television, radio, newspaper is like super expensive, and the value out of that is like way worse compared to social media. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, so then
So should I add more? Should I add more points? I have some more maybe.
yeah, definitely, man. If you have more to
Okay,
say, go for it.
cool. Um, so what I also told was we right now in the social media world is like a few days before the gold rush back then in the when was it 1880 something um, back then when the gold rush was. So you just say like it's a few days before that gold rush. So not everyone is using that. You can take advantage of that right now. Yeah, and gain a lot of clients. And what else? So we also showed competitors which aren't using it or already using it to make more pressure on them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of
So
sense. So it makes
mhm.
sense like how you had such high conversions, right? Like you were showing them competitors, you were showing them, giving them the, hey, this is the gold rush. You were showing them that
Yeah.
people are moving online, so it makes a lot of sense. So then, like, you got your first client, and then how did you start getting your second, third, and fourth client?
Mhm. So it's I think it's getting easier. So when you just have your first client, you're gaining more confidence in the first place. So that's very important for yourself. So you made it. You have your first milestone, and then you're like more focused, and you can like easily like copy paste that action again, and just going to like new clients, and you already know how like, hey, how can I like get them in the deal. And when you have your first clients, business owners are my favorite partners to work with because obviously they just want to make business and they're helping you out. Like they're saying, hey, if you do a good job, I recommend you to my friends who are also business owners. Or I know a friend who needs like maybe like a new logo or like a new website and stuff. So yeah, you're getting like more and more into business. And I started then after that to think more in a scaled way. So I try to work out partnerships, joint ventures, where I help people for free, but they're recommending me like to all their business partners. And yeah, so I want to multiply that.
Okay, and where did you get that idea from?
Um, Actually, it just on my own. I didn't research that, so I could research that all, like using like networks, like multiplying that. So yeah.
Okay. How did you know, like, okay, so actually, like, my question I asked you earlier was like, how did you just get your second, third, and fourth and fifth client? So, like, you did it through referrals?
Yeah, so some was referrals, some were like new like cold sales on the phone or offline. And yeah, some were like through that new joint venture I had with I think it was a real estate agency. Yeah, with an old friend of mine from the network marketing. As I told you, it's very good to start in the network marketing niche because you get a lot of contacts and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you got your second, third, and fourth. Like, how many clients did you get? Like, I don't know. After you got your first client, how many clients did you get in 6 months?
Um, I think like 5 to 10, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yes, something like that. Um, so I also went to some conferences, which is like super, super good because you can just pitch to everyone there. And they also need like maybe you also need their service or like their help, you know? So it's very good, like connecting there with all the network marketers, with all the business owners, self-employed people. It's very good. Yeah.
So, okay, at what time did you get a full-time income? Like, from your first client to like a full-time income? How long did that take, and how many clients was that for you?
Um, Let me think of that. To be honest, I continued living like that low-key lifestyle in Germany a long time. So I didn't pay out anything because I just reinvested everything and also like a new company. And actually, I don't know when but I think like I could already paid me out like end of that year, like it was end of 2017, like starting 2018. Yeah.
So, 2017, you were saying you were making a full-time income, so that's like what, like 2,000 a month and more?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like end of and like starting 2018. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and you said, why did you like stay low key? Why didn't you like? Did you not want to buy cars? Did you not want to buy travel to different
Hmm.
countries?
Sure. So I traveled a lot. Yeah, because it gives me like a lot of like knowledge, new perspectives, getting new friends, new networks, and seeing the world. But yeah, I wanted to have cars and all that stuff, but I was still on that goal, you know, that passive income. And what rich people do, they don't spend their active income, they invest all their income, active income, into assets and let pay the assets for that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect example from the mentality of how to not have expenses, just have assets. So that's awesome.
exactly. Yeah.
So okay, so like, how did you know you have to make a team, and when did you start building your team?
So I started like almost directly because I franchised my company right away, and I got a few franchise partners. Some were like friends, some were like new contacts, and it just started out in that way to have like directly leverage and case study on the business. So developing that kind of business and already make it a franchise to reproduce it. And I think, yeah, we gained the first people were salespeople already in that year also. And in the next year, we started, hey, we have we can't, we're working on our own, like doing the postings. We can't do that anymore. Like we have to outsource that. So we tried Fiverr, online freelancer agencies who gave us some freelancers and stuff. Tried everything out. Failed failed a lot on that. Also, make a huge um, gain a huge knowledge out of that. And yeah, after a while, we really like hired like our own people. That make the most sense, like hiring students who needs like jobs, like a bit of money. And because you are also like giving them a lot of knowledge, which they can, which they have a huge advantage for their like own stuff they will do in the future. Yeah.
Okay, and were you learning from someone, like someone guiding you, like, hey, you should try this out, you should try this out, or were you just like doing whatever?
So my biggest mentors have been already almost since ever, like since I was super small. Books. I read a lot of books. So I think the biggest nuggets I took out of the book. So my favorite book, business book, is The Millionaire Fast Lane from MJ DeMarco. It's really one of my favorite because there you learn a lot of like the general basics that you need to have, like having control, like analyzing your business, what can you like optimize? Yeah, is your business scalable? Is it like, can you like like not putting in your own time? Is it possible to make that passive, like, and all that stuff, and like good stuff like that you're like business owner, like on the fast lane, sidewalker, and you're just living on credit and like having like a super bad, but just read the book, it's very good. So, and yeah, as I told you, I have some business partners, so I'm living in that book world, YouTube world, and also in the world of like some of my network friends from back then, and also like these partnerships I had. So I just was living in that area, not much with students. I mean, still, but not that much. I was just trying to get the right surrounding. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
very
it's funny
cool.
because I actually read that book when I was on my journey as well, becoming an entrepreneur. And the reason I read that book was just because like it talks about like how to become like a millionaire fast. And the way it
Hmm.
says is like, like a lot of businesses are like physical locations. Like he's like, if you want it fast, you need to go online. And I just
Yeah.
remember reading that book when I was like, because I used to work at a call center, and I remember
Hmm.
between calls, I would like open that book up and I would be reading, and then I take my calls, read the book, in between. So yeah, I definitely remember reading that book, and it was very helpful. So
That's awesome. That's sorry to interrupt you again,
yeah,
but that's so funny that you say that because I was in the in school and university, and I was reading that book under my table all the time. Like I was so like addicted to that book, like reading the next page. And back in that time, like because I was like very lazy, as I told you, I really didn't listen in school and like learning English very good. So I it actually was super hard to read for me, that book, because I couldn't read like super good English. So yeah, just like also because of that book, I learned like English a lot better. And yeah, I just read it like under the table and like all the courses and like doing the homework with like my like university colleagues. I just read it like all the time. So super funny that you read it in the call center while